This is related to the little boy who was found dead face down on the Turkish beach, trying to come to Canada. All I want to write is curse words and swear words. I could not resist because my whole theme of writing is related to evolution, so we don't have to go through these kinds of tragedies. So here it is, and please ignore the English, stay focused on the content. I heard a Punjabi song a while back, and the verse stuck in my head because I think it is related to the education of the sense of belonging to a group, which most people take pride in. Baki Gullan Bard Sage Sonyan, Pahalan Sadar Han. The translation is, everything is after, first I am a Sikh. Since I understand Punjabi, I know what it means. I grew up in Pakistan, and being a Muslim, we had the same education. If you are a Christian or Jew or American or belong to any other nationality or religion and you think your identity is not as a human being first, get it straight, you are on the wrong path because you were born as a human being to human beings first. The education we all grew up with, and are discouraged from thinking beyond the belonging group's interest, is totally political even if it says it is our religion first. We all qualify by our genetics as human beings first. This is the disconnection that needs fixing. This is the fundamental flaw in our education systems and the dead dog of our past and present problems, and I hope it gets solved so it can't be carried on into our future. All the prejudice, religious extremism, racism, and related wars and social problems stem from our education at home. It is crucial to learn about deeply ingrained and conflicting senses from within. It is time to learn to harness the emotional response that makes us rob each other of love. It is time for each and every one of us to assume our responsibilities and become a CEO, one who can do justice beyond emotions and conflicting senses. To the impotent politicians of the world, look at this picture and see where you are going wrong. Get your act together. Take your responsibilities seriously and recognize the issues, especially the ones that can't be swept under the rug. Just like Obama said, if you use chemical weapons, that would be a red line to cross, but nothing was done. Everything was swept under the rug, out of sight, out of mind. This boy's death is a living example and a message to the whole world: don't sweep conflicts under the rug. The formation of ISIS is another example of not addressing issues promptly. The veto system in the United Nations is another failed system to blame as well. Where are those powerhouses who created Israel, divided Iraq and Kuwait, formed a new map of the Middle East, and created over 200 countries all over the world? Why can't we think beyond religions and nationalities? Aren't we human first? It may not be simple and easy, but if you take religion out of politics and politics out of religion, you would be able to treat everyone with justice and compassion. I have written before about human jewelry. 1. Love. 2. Compassion. 3. Forgiveness. 4. Sacrifice. If you take these off, what you have left is an animal. All religions talk about these things, but looking at history, they actually remove the com from passion. Thus, we are in predicaments like these innocent deaths. We have been fighting passionately and killing innocents, exactly the opposite of what religious education talks about. Their punishments for crimes are harsh, with no compassion, only passion. They judge the individual and claim everyone is a sinner and needs forgiveness. The Pope just said we should forgive the women who have had abortions. Who are we to punish or forgive? I strongly believe if a child is coming, it is God's will. If it is God's will, why should one be punished or forgiven? I believe God lives through humanity, thus, every child born is a new cell of God to reproduce God. Blaming the individual for simply playing a role in the bigger picture is not spiritual, it is political. Why change the tune now? Why not 50 years ago, or 100 or 1,000 or 2,000 years ago? It is because we have to evolve, especially when the tide is turning. People are refusing the extremes of religions as they become educated. Personally and spiritually, I am against abortion and euthanasia because we are all part of an organism as well as independent entities. As long as we are useful to humanity, we should hang on to do our jobs. But at the end of the day, the individual should have more say in his/her life. You just can't order or condemn without educating people. Life is not just the human doing, it is happening as well. Just look at conception. What are the odds for a sperm to become a human being? Even after becoming an individual, we rely on oxygen, which is not in our control. When we inhale it, millions of things have to go just right for us to be living. It can be simplified, but it is not that simple. Regardless, individual rights are still on top of my agenda. If you want to kill yourself or have an abortion, it should be your choice as well as your responsibility to be a living cell of God, the real organism we belong to. Religious orders should not be orders, they should be choices and without any punishments, because I believe our justice systems should be separate and above all our belief systems. A belief system does not follow logic, its foundation is literally on believing in something, which is beyond the understanding of present-day brain power usage. So killing over a reality that is not understood is and should be against all logical justice systems. Religious people are against education. My mother told me she wanted to go to high school, but her father denied her, even though he was a teacher himself. My hat's off to Malala Yousafzai because she took a stand for education in a culture that still stands against equal rights for all, whether it be education or work. I believe we will always have differences of opinion, but our problems can only be solved with our evolution and education to get ahead in all departments of life. People working openly against education are usually in cultures of control. Like the Taliban in Afghanistan and Pakistan in the East and in the West, we have Hutterites and Mormons who want their people to live simply, obey, and follow the rules of their religions. I have nothing against it until they take it to the extreme and end up in a place where human rights are violated. It is all fine if there is compassion in the passion, otherwise, it is all politics, no spirituality, because religion without compassion has nothing to offer to the individual to become a better person. Our civil wars are strongly related to a distorted sense of belonging. The responsibility of this lands on the shoulders of the individual, who makes the final decision to join the group to fight and kill other human beings regardless of innocence or guilt. Lack of individual knowledge, especially when it comes to balancing inner and conflicting senses, should be recognized by the individual. So we all should know exactly who we are and what we are capable of. Each and every one of us is a born CEO who makes decisions every day with free will, but some of us don't when it comes to the politics of the sense of belonging. This little boy is telling the story that we all have to cross the lines to create balance between our sense of belonging and sense of freedom. He brought the calm back and put it into the passion. I hope the people who think that refugees are burdens will see what he showed with his death. I would add that communities, cities, countries, and religions are not made of buildings, houses, roads, and bridges, they are made of people because each and every one of them carries a worth. When you take the people out of the town, it becomes a ghost town.